The show is brought to you by Cedarwood, a whole business and finance department in your pocket. Cedarwood rents out senior CFOs to the tech industry from 1 to 5 days a week. Go to cedarwood.co.
In this episode, I sat down with Pontus Rundqvist from DreamHack, talking about the esports market, the future of the esports market, about gaming and the gaming industry, hackathons, and about the startups within the gaming industry. Here's the interview. So, welcome to Startup Cabin Podcast, Pontus. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about who you are?
So my name is Pontus Rundqvist, and I'm currently project coordinator for DreamHack's venture into hackathon, which we call Dream Hackathon.
Not all of our listeners know games that well, or the game industry. Can you just give a short introduction to what DreamHack is?
Okay, so DreamHack is basically a very huge player within esports section of the gaming industry. So our focus lies within the tournament-based and competition-based stuff that comes with the gaming industry. So we have a lot of broadcasts around the world regarding all the major games. And we are also in Sweden most known about our large LAN events in Jönköping.
Exactly. And it's several LANs a year, right?
Exactly. So we do have one event called DreamHack Summer, and we have one event called DreamHack Winter, which are the big LAN events with approximately 16,000 people visiting.
Wow, that's large. Is this the largest in the world? Or?
Yes, it is the largest digital festival in the world.
Wow. So in other countries, what kind of events do you do there?
So we have this like visiting or a tour, which is called DreamHack Open. So we have our own tour in different cities like Valencia and now latest in Moscow.
Do you go do you go to like the US?
Not at the moment, but we're looking outside like the European Union and to venture into larger areas. Right now we are focusing more in the European Union and our events here.
Mm-hmm. So is it mostly Swedes who come to the LANs, or is it from all over the world? Or?
Well, it depends. If we are in Sweden, of course, most are Swedes, but we do have a lot of people coming in from other countries. Since gaming is a very large thing everywhere, we do have a lot of visitors from around the world.
So I heard somewhere that some people think that esport is going to actually be bigger than watching like football or more traditional sports on TV, because our generations are so into this area. Do you think that is true? Absolutely.
When you start looking at how many people that are actually viewing like Twitch and stuff like that, we can see a rapid increase in people doing that. So we think that this will be the next huge thing.
Mm-hmm. And the Swede PewDiePie who makes YouTube videos, he mostly does record himself playing games, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like playing games and doing these playthroughs is one thing. DreamHack, on the other hand, we're focusing more on the competitive side. So we're looking at the actual competitions, and we're actually broadcasting a lot of huge tournaments, international tournaments like League of Legends and CSGO and Dota 2, all these major games that are right now the largest esports platforms. We are there.
Mm-hmm. What I meant with the PewDiePie is just that watching people do anything with digital games seems to just become bigger and bigger. And I know myself, I'm a gamer, and if you get stuck, I mean, the first thing you do is go and look at YouTube or somewhere else where people, have those great walkthroughs, the ones who actually play the whole game every single little part of it, so they know everything about it. Do you think that, how far ahead in time do you think that we will see esport as part of, the regular channel, as TV channels?
I don't think that's very far off. We have had our events gone live in the Swedish television, for example. So we have already started to get into those. Right now we're sending some things at other channels, not only in Sweden, but also outside Sweden. So we're actually seeing a lot of interest into this kind of stuff. So I don't think that it will take very much or very long time to actually venture even more into this, and it will become even more popular than it really is.
Mm-hmm. And this hackathon, why did DreamHack decide to do that, and how is that going to play out?
All right, so basically the hackathon idea came up while looking at what the DreamHack Stockholm 2014 event should involve. So in this case, the theme was set quite early that it's going to target a more grown up target group, 18 plus people and adults and people within the industry that's working. And that's also why we have invited a lot of indie developers and stuff like that to come over to showcase their products and stuff like that, because we think that it's missing right now in Sweden. A platform for this kind of stuff within the industry is missing. And while looking at that, we found that, okay, so we also have this kind of, people wanted a hackathon. People wanted something to bring the gaming industry together in a new way, not only through the booth or through a booth, but also by involving both the newcomers and the old gamers. Mm-hmm. And a hackathon could be a part of that. We saw that. And that's also something that Stockholm Stad, which is one of our main partners in this, saw. So they are actually part of this whole venture into the hackathon area.
And Stockholm is Sweden in general, we're a big game development country. Despite being so small, we're in, the top 3 or top 4 in the world, competing with Japan and the US and etc. And I think it's really nice to see that even Stockholm Stad, the Stockholm city, actually sees this, because I feel like we who work in the tech industry and know people in the gaming industry or are gamers ourselves, we kind of know this, but it feels like the rest of the community doesn't really see the potential or even know that there's so many indie game developers here in Sweden.
Absolutely. We saw that also. We saw that there was this possibility to highlight those isolated game developers that are working out there maybe alone without exposure. And bringing this platform is enabling them to meet others, to network, to bring them into this atmosphere which Stockholm is breathing right now. Mm-hmm. It is called one of the top tech hubs in the world, and we want to utilize that, but also contribute to that. And that's our way of doing that is to host this hackathon.
Mm-hmm. So what will people do in the hackathon?
Okay, so this hackathon is aiming for 150 participants, and we are looking to have all sorts of creative people. We're calling it a creative contest where people from the gaming industry, from the startup culture or startup business are coming together and try to have people meet and network and create cool new stuff. So our goal is that the next great Swedish gaming wonder would come out of this, and that with the prize pool of 100,000 Swedish crowns that we are enabling them to realize their visions and maybe have a next Mojang.
That's why what made me personally so excited to be part of the jury for the hackathon, because as I said, this is something that I've seen for a long time, and as a business developer, I just want people to see the potential in the game industry in Sweden, and especially the indie game developers. And I actually did this request on one of the gaming Facebook groups a while back for our meetup, and just to see, like, is there any indie game developers who are interested in coming together and showcasing their startups, how you do a gaming startup for our meetup group. And I had 40 answers within an hour. People were calling, people were emailing. They were just like, we don't care how far we have to go to Stockholm. We're like 8 hours away, but we're going to be there. So I really understand that the problem with the indie game development kind of community, that it's so spread out all over Sweden, actually, and in a lot of small cities where you don't have the advantage of Stockholm being this tech hub, which is really, becoming very hot right now. So it's nice to see someone who actually brings that together.
Yeah, and by doing that and having this great venue like the Globe Arenas, the biggest venue and most known venue in all of Sweden, to actually bring together all these people from both around Sweden, actually. And we got people coming in from the UK, and we got people from Estonia, we got people. So this is actually starting to get more international than we first thought it would become. And that might have something to do with the influence and spread that DreamHack already has, because right now we got millions of views for everything that we do around the world, and we are a very international company. So by utilizing that as a platform, we hope that we can bring together the gaming industry and the startup community in this new way.
And I mean, DreamHack really has the power, as you said, the power and the punch to actually make that happen. So how would you describe esport for people who don't know esport and that kind of gaming? How is that different from other kind of gaming genres?
Well, basically, esports is more, I would say, more diverse. So if we, for an example, take StarCraft 2, some people are comparing that to chess in some sort of way, but also with a more active role in the chess, because you have to plan a lot more and be a lot quicker while playing StarCraft 2. So that's one thing. And when you have competitions in games like CSGO, it's more about reaction times. So I would say that esports are a new dimension of sports that we haven't seen before. But in any case, it involves a lot of, like, you have to think a lot. It has a lot to do with reaction and thinking. So I would say that it's focusing more on the brain activity rather than the physical strength.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of obvious as it's digital things. Yeah. But it's interesting to hear that it's also more of the chess kind of strategy games that are played. Because my view was more that it was more like Counter-Strike, that kind of game, more, as you said, fast reaction times and kind of those kind of teamworks that you see in those kind of games. But then I really can see why esport could become big, because if you have those kind of, you can merge all of the different styles of traditional sports we have and have them in a giant arena. I mean, of course, that's going to be, huge.
Absolutely. And we do have different kind of esports. I mean, we have team-based esports like League of Legends, and we do have Dota 2, and we have and CSGO, of course. And then we have this more one-man army kind of styled StarCraft 2 games. So you have from both spectras of games, so both team play and solo play. So
you personally, why did you get involved with DreamHack?
So I got involved with DreamHack since I play a lot. I'm a gamer too, and I come from the event industry working with a lot of events of this kind of sort, where you look at what I would describe as subcultures, because right now gaming, even though gaming is taking a larger role in the society, I would still see it as a subculture.
And there's a lot of subcultures within gaming.
Absolutely. And I've always taken an interest in those kind of subcultures, and the digital format is so powerful right now. And I think that that's something that especially we in Sweden, can develop even further than we have right now. So
what kind of games do you play?
I play.
I'm so curious.
I play StarCraft 2. I play StarCraft 2 and other kinds of RTS games. I'm more the strategy game type, actually. So, yeah.
I'm more for Call of Duty, Battlefield, Resident Evil, actually Army of Two, which get a
Army
bad reputation because they're so...
I really enjoy the co-op though.
Yeah, the thing is, Army of Two is a game consisting of a team of two guys who look like American wrestlers.
Yeah.
And they're so stereotypical, and they have this, one-liners that are just so lame. But the co-op experience of playing together, playing with my best friends, we do a lot of co-op together. I think both of us think actually that's the best co-op experience, because you really have to work together, and when you work together in that game, it really becomes much, much better.
Yeah.
So I actually like Army of Two, but a lot of people, when I say that, they're like, ooh. Yeah.
But the game I'm looking forward the most is still Dragon Age Inquisition, though, because
So why is that?
Because it has this RTS element, but it's still an RPG styled game. And now when they are adding co-op multiplayer also, that's gonna be fun.
I think it's kind of sad that lately I feel like a lot of the games that had great co-op, they stopped doing co-op and do more, especially for the big, console games.
Yeah.
They do more of online gaming, and you don't have that experience of actually sitting in the same room with your friends, playing, shouting at each other, etc. I think it's good with the digital, kind of experience of having that kind of play session. But I think still the real sitting in the room together kind of co-op is just much more fun.
Absolutely. And that's also something that is becoming more increasingly interesting for me personally, is when the digital gaming format merges with the analog, tabletop. So we're looking at stuff interacting more and more. I've seen some new games where you integrate tablets and stuff into the gameplay, not only to have your rule book on, but actually as part of the game with new ideas of how to integrate timing and stuff like that while playing tabletop games. So,
do you know the names of the games?
Oh, I think that the new game called XCOM from the franchise, but in a tabletop format, is actually integrating this kind of stuff a little bit more.
Okay. When it comes to tabletop, those kind of games, I mostly play zombie games. And they're very, very non-digital, old cards, but it's a lot of fun. Thank you for joining us and talking about esports and games. And I'm so excited to be on the jury of the hackathon. It's going to be so amazing, partly because of the mix of people in the jury. I'm so excited to meet them, but also, as you said, just getting this finally together, the startup world and the gaming industry with the package of DreamHack. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'd like to see what comes out of this melting pot of skilled people and crazy ideas, because it's only a week left, but I can't wait to see what's going to happen.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us at Startup Cabin Podcast. Hope you enjoy yourself.
Absolutely.
Thanks. This was Pontus Rundqvist from DreamHack. If you want to learn more about esport and gaming and want to comment on the show, please go to startupcabin.com/dreamhack.